So that daily drink you might be having, it could be doing a lot more than just helping you relax. We always hear about the liver, right? But today we're going to pull back the curtain on a different kind of damage, a really subtle, sneaky harm to your nervous system and your gut that you might actually be feeling, but not quite putting your finger on why. Let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed a strange tingling or even numbness in your hands and feet after a drink or two? Or maybe a little bit of dizziness that you just kind of brush off? Well, I'm here to tell you those are not just random feelings. Those are signals, direct messages that your nervous system is literally being starved of nutrients it desperately needs. Okay, let's dive into this because it's so much bigger than just numb hands. The list of these signals is actually pretty long. We're talking about that frustrating brain fog, a deep chronic fatigue you can't shake, muscle weakness, even feelings of anxiety or frequent headaches. Now, most people would never in a million years connect these things to their regular glass of wine or beer, but what these signs are often pointing to is a serious nutritional deficiency, one that kicks off with how alcohol messes with your body's most critical vitamins. To really get what's going on, you have to think of alcohol in this context as, well, a thief. It's basically performing a heist on your body, robbing your nervous system of the very building blocks it needs to function. And the first vitamin in the line of fire is thiamine, also known as B1. I want you to picture your nerves as tiny electrical wires. Thiamine is absolutely essential for building and maintaining something called the myelin sheath, which is basically the protective insulation around those wires. Now, if that insulation gets worn down, what happens? The electrical signals misfire, and that leads directly to those symptoms like tingling and numbness. Now, check this out. This isn't some rare side effect we're talking about. A staggering 80% of people with alcohol overuse disorder develop a thiamine deficiency. 80%. And here's why. Your body burns through your B1 stores like crazy when it metabolizes alcohol, and at the exact same time, the alcohol damages your gut's ability to absorb any new B1 from your food. It's a brutal 1-2 punch. And thiamine isn't the only victim in this heist. Alcohol also goes after your folate, or vitamin B9. Think of folate as your body's master builder. It's what you need to make DNA and produce healthy new cells all over your body, from your blood to the very lining of your gut. So when your folate levels drop, your body's ability to repair itself just plummets. So, okay, alcohol steals your vitamins directly. That's attack number one. But it also launches a second attack, one that's arguably even more destructive. It breaches the single most important wall in your body, your gut barrier. And this brings us to a condition you might have heard of called increased intestinal permeability, but most people just call it leaky gut. You see, your intestinal lining is supposed to be like a super secure border crossing. It carefully lets nutrients pass through into your bloodstream while blocking out all the bad guys, toxins, undigested food, you name it. Alcohol is one of the main things that can blow holes in that fence. And this visual just illustrates it perfectly. On the left, you've got a healthy gut barrier. See how the cells are packed together with these tight, secure junctions? Now look at the right. After alcohol has done its damage, those junctions are broken, creating gaps. Now all sorts of junk can leak directly into your bloodstream, which kicks off inflammation all over your body and, here's the kicker, makes it even harder to absorb the very nutrients you need to fix the problem. So here it is, the vicious cycle. Step 1, alcohol burns through your B vitamins. Step 2, it then damages your gut, causing leaky gut. And step 3, that leaky, damaged gut can no longer properly absorb new vitamins from your food to replace what you've lost. You see, it's a downward spiral of getting more and more deficient, which just makes the symptoms worse and worse. But, and this is a really important but, here's the good news. This damage is not necessarily permanent. In fact, your gut wants to heal, and it can heal pretty fast. This study from the journal Nutrients found that the signs of leaky gut are rapidly improved just by taking away the main toxin, which is alcohol. Okay, so that's the problem. How do we fix it? Well, now that we know the cause, we can lay out a really clear, actionable recovery plan. This isn't guesswork. It's a targeted strategy to stop the damage and actively start repairing your gut and your nervous system. We can actually boil down the clinical 5R framework for gut health into 2 incredibly powerful first steps. First, step 1 is remove. You have to remove the toxin. By taking even just 1 or 2 days off from drinking, you give that intestinal lining the breathing room it needs to start healing and sealing up those gaps.
Step 2 is repair. This is where you actively and intentionally put back the specific nutrients that were stolen.
So what's in this repair toolkit? Well, we start with the obvious ones: thiamine to rebuild that nerve insulation, and folate to get that new cell production back online. But we also need to add zinc, which is crucial for healing the intestinal cells themselves, and then omega-3 fatty acids to calm down all that body-wide inflammation the leaky gut was causing. And the best part is you can start this whole process with what's on your plate. You don't necessarily have to rush out and buy a bunch of supplements. Just focus on bringing in these nutrient-dense foods. Lentils are an absolute powerhouse for both thiamine and folate. Meats and pumpkin seeds are loaded with zinc. And fatty fish like salmon or sardines will give you those crucial anti-inflammatory omega-3s.
As we wrap up, if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. These symptoms are not just annoyances. They're not something to be ignored or covered up with a painkiller. That tingling, that fatigue, that brain fog, that is data. It's direct, meaningful information from your body telling you that a fundamental system is breaking down, and it needs a specific solution, not a Band-Aid.
So the final question I want to leave you with isn't about judgment or feeling bad. It's about curiosity. It's about awareness. The next time you feel that little bit of numbness or that wave of unexplained fatigue, just stop and ask yourself, what is my body trying to tell me? Listen to the data, because it's telling you exactly what it needs to heal.